Hello everyone, this is Badger. Before we get started, just please hit that subscribe button and share and like this video to other people. I'm trying to build the channel, so really could use subscribers. Today I want to show you a Empire team. I guarantee this is unique because a lot of people in the past that I've tried to share it with always argue for a different leader. I personally think that Darth Vader is like the coolest Empire character, and I thought it would just be cool personally to build a Darth Vader lead team. And before you switch over to a different video, just bear with me. I'll show you that this actually is a viable team. I've actually tested it. It does work. I just need to get some actual video recorded where I can show you guys, which I will try to get that and get that released out so you can see how effective it is. So, we'll just jump down here. Now, we're just going to jump right into the Darth Vader leadership, and then I'm going to just kind of discuss the counter arguments against this that I've heard. Okay. Actually, he has a pretty good lead here. Empire and Sith allies have plus 30% offense and a 50% chance to remove 20% turn meter when they damage an enemy. This turn meter removal can't be resisted. And also, while Darth Vader is alive, enemies immediately regain damage over time for 2 turns whenever damage over time expires on them. Now, there are a couple things here to take away. Obviously, everyone is getting a large offense boost. And then every time you attack the enemy, you have a 50-50 chance of removing their turn meter. So think of it kind of like as a reverse turn meter train. Instead of you giving yourself lots and lots of turn meter, which is what Emperor Palpatine does, you gain more turns by removing it from the other side. So the faster you are, and the more AoE attacks you can land and get out there, the more turns that you're going to take under his leadership. And the other cool thing is, once you get damage over time on the enemy, they never go away. Never. They can try to cleanse them and they'll just pop right back up. So essentially, if you have your Darth Vader fast enough, and you can get him to do his AoE like 2-3 times, you can really build those damage over times up. And it definitely helps us start taking out enemies that way. Not to mention, then it makes this cooling blade really powerful because you get like say 10 damage over times. And if you go over here, deal physical damage to target enemy and dispel all debuffs on them. This attack deals 50% more damage for each, basically debuff dispelled. And then of course you get 100% turn meter if you're defeated. And it has this particular attack has a 25% critical chance increase. So you have a high chance of doing a lot of damage when you start building up those debuffs on the other side. So, the counter argument that I've heard a lot is Palpatine is a lot better lead. So let's just go over here. We'll take a quick look. And I know my Empire team is pitiful. I focus heavily on the Jedi, Galactic Republic, and Rebels, so I'm just getting to the Empire and starting to build up Empire characters. It's kind of hard to work on everything at once when you're doing it free to play. Whoops. Wrong leader. Okay, let's go over here and look at his leadership. Empire and Sith has plus 35% potency and 35% max health. Now, obviously, the health is going to make the team tankier. And the only character that really needs the potency a lot is Darth Vader. And then you get down here, and they basically, when you inflict a debuff, you get 20% turn meter. If they're Sith, they also gain 20%, recover 20% health. And when the debuff expires, they gain another 5% turn meter. So you can see here, it's all basically, his leadership is basically all about generating turn meter. You're a little tankier, you get some extra potency. That's not a big deal because on a Darth Vader team, you can sub somebody in that's gonna help you with that potency. And we'll just check over here, just so you can see, this says unique here is more about, damaging the other side. And Palpatine gets some extra protection. So, besides, obviously he's a great leader for the Empire. Get you that turn meter train. Has AoE stun. You can get shock on people, which is a really good debuff. But here's one thing. A lot of people have seen the Empire Palpatine lead. There's a lot of counters out for it. Not very many people, if any, has seen a Darth Vader lead. I don't know about before I started playing, but I've never personally seen one. Not only he's cool, but you could potentially trip up your opponent by him underestimating the power of your team, which could help you in Grand Arena. It could help you with getting some holds in territory war. And plus, he's really good on offense, so you can always use him to take out other teams if you want to use him that way. All right, so we're gonna jump over here to his squad, and we're just gonna kind of show you the synergy in this team. And I'll try. I'm still working on building up the team, so I'm gonna try to get some video on this so you can see the mechanics and stuff. So you've seen his leadership. Everyone gets offense, 50% chance to remove 20% turn meter, which the more AoEs you do, the better chance you have of keeping the enemy from taking turns. And then another thing here is damage over time. It never expires. And we'll jump over here to his unique. So Darth Vader gives himself speed. So the faster you can have him, and then he'll make himself even faster, depending on who you're fighting. At the start of each encounter, Darth Vader gains 8 speed until the end of the battle for Empire ally, Sith ally, Jedi enemy, and Rebel enemy. So obviously he's going to be super fast against Jedi and Rebel enemies, but he'll still give himself a speed boost if you take him against other people. That Darth Vader is immune to turn meter reduction, recovers 5% health and 2% protection whenever a damage over time effect expires. So just imagine, you just look. We was over there reading Palpatine, how he's talking about when it expires, debuff expires, you get 20% health. But just think, under this, as he builds up more and more stacks of damage over time, so you get like 10, and they expire, and they repop back up, he's going to get 50% health, 20% protection. Just for an example. Whenever Darth Vader activates Merciless Massacre, dispels stealth from all enemies. That's a good thing, since you can't hit stealth characters otherwise. So he's got a lot of good abilities here. So we'll look at his abilities real quick. Deal physical damage to target enemy, 80% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn. Increase to 100% if you're attacking Jedi or Rebels. And they can't evade or resist it. Force Crush. This is your AoE. It's on a 5-turn cooldown. Deal physical damage to all enemies. Inflict speed down. And 3 damage over time effects for 2 turns. This attack can't be countered. This is good. See, you're getting speed down on them. Damage over time. Cooling Blade, like we looked at earlier. You dispel all the debuffs on them. This attack does 50% more damage for each debuff dispelled. Grants 100% turn meter if you defeat an enemy, and you have plus 25% more critical chance when using this. Now, when you use this, if they have like, say 10 damage over time, you hit them, it'll dispel them, and the damage over time will immediately pop back up on them, all 10. Or however many you have. Merciless Massacre. You gain Merciless Massacre. All enemies gain the target, Merciless target. You can basically, it's removed after you attack him for 1 turn. If you do attack the same target twice in a row, then all of them will lose a target. So you gotta attack each target 1 time, and then you get 1 final turn. So actually, because of Merciless Massacre, he can get to his AoE pretty quick. So you can like AoE at the front of it, attack 3 or 4 times, and then by the time you get to the end, you can do another AoE. And then Merciless here gives you a 50% offense boost. Does not stack with the offense up, unfortunately. Plus 50% critical chance, plus 50% critical damage. You're immune to fear, stun, turn meter manipulation. And Darth Vader's bonus turns do not trigger other characters' effects based on bonus turns or turn meter gain. You can ignore taunts while you have this ability active. And that's pretty much most of it. So he's got a lot of good built-in stuff here. You can see that you can really go to work on the other side. And so I like to have a tank in this on my teams, mainly to help protect my damage dealers. So and I wanted to kind of keep it a little thematic because I like Darth Vader so much. So I picked Stormtrooper. He's a pretty good tank, I think, for the Empire. You could use the Imperial Guard if you wanted to. So his taunt here, taunt for 3 turns, grant Empire allies defense up for 3 turns, which is always good, makes him harder to kill. Stormtrooper removes 10% turn meter from each enemy whenever he his damage while taunting. So this is going to help. So if they do ever start taking turns, he's going to help reduce the turn meter down. Even though he does not have a AoE, he is going to help you with that. Part of his kit. This one here is just basically an attack with high damage variance. If you don't score a critical hit or is evaded, the target becomes exposed, which might allow you to use Darth Vader to, one-shot somebody easier. Stormtrooper gains 40% defense for each living Empire ally, or otherwise he gains 40% offense for each defeated ally. Empire troopers have 30% increased defense, which is kind of why I have the other two troopers, because they kind of, help each other. I got Magma Trooper. Again, I kind of like the white troopers. But Magma Trooper synergizes really well with Darth Vader. Now let me show you why. We'll look at his AoE first. Deal physical damage to all enemies. So you gain that AoE. 20% possible chance, 50% possible chance to remove 20% turn meter automatically. And under his thing, you automatically remove 30%. With a 70% chance to remove another 30% turn meter. So if you had them all trigger, you could remove 80% turn meter with this one attack. 30%, if you had got the 70% chance for another, that'd be 60. And then under Vader's leadership, if you hit the 50% for the 20, that's 80%. So you could remove a lot of turn meter under that. And it has a cooldown of 4, which isn't bad. His basic also, besides dealing physical damage to enemy and to a random enemy, so you're attacking 2 people. The second attack deals 20% less damage. So, that's always good. You're getting kind of a mini AoE by getting 2 attacks in there. Magma Trooper has plus 30% turn meter, gains 70% turn meter the first time he resists a detrimental effect or suffers a debuff each turn. So he can possibly speed himself up depending what team you're going up against. While Magma Trooper's active, Imperial Troopers have plus 30% tenacity. This helps keep your tank from getting stunned or something. And we'll move over to Snow Trooper. Again, he has an AoE. Deal physical damage to all enemies. Gain critical damage up for 2 turns. For each critical hit scored, reduce the cooldown of this ability by 1. If you have a good enough critical chance, obviously you could do back-to-back-to-back overwhelming assault AoEs, because on a 5v5 battle, if you can land 5 critical hits or even 4, then obviously this is going to reduce this down to 0, and then you'll be able to reuse it again. Obviously you can get that turn meter reduction with this on all the enemy, and plus possibility to keep using it over and over. So he synergizes real well with Darth Vader. 50% chance to inflict ability block. Besides the damage, ability block can be helpful sometimes. Snow Trooper gains 30% turn meter whenever an enemy unit is defeated, and other Empire allies gain half that amount. Again, you're kind of speeding yourself up a little bit. And then all the other troopers gain 20% critical damage. That's going to more help your Magma Trooper. And so the 5th spot depending on what you have in your roster, I'll give you a couple other ideas. But the fifth spot here, I think the best is Admiral Piet. Now, depending if you want to use him in a different squad or in this squad, I'll give you some other ideas to kind of sub in here. But Admiral Piet synergizes with Darth Vader really well. We'll just zoom right down here. If Darth Vader is an ally, Darth Vader, Admiral Piet have plus 20% accuracy, potency, and tenacity. That'll keep your Darth Vader from getting less likely to get debuffs or stunned. And obviously there's that potency and accuracy that he can use. But he can also improve your offense capability of your Darth Vader too. Admiral Piet has 60% counter chance. Piet gains 5% turn meter whenever another Empire ally takes damage. So obviously he's going to... Hopefully you're not in that position where your guys are getting damaged a lot. And if you are, your team probably is a little too slow for this squad lineup. Whenever an Empire ally begins a turn or attacks out a turn, all Empire allies gain a stack of Emperor's Trap until the start of the next enemy turn, not Empire allies' turn, which we will not have that, or the end of the battle. So basically, if you can keep the enemy from taking a turn, you can keep building Emperor's Trap up. And Emperor's Trap gives you plus 6% offense and potency per stack. So as you can see here, you don't have to get very many stacks of Emperor's Trap before Darth Vader is getting a lot more potency than he would be getting under Emperor Palpatine lead. And he has some good stuff to help you with that. Deal physical damage to target enemy. Call another random Empire ally to assist. And allies with inevitable failure are called to assist also. So right there, kind of like that little bit mini AoE going there. We'll go over this real quick. All allies gain offense up. Piet gets stealth. Inflict marked and 3 stacks of inevitable failure on target other Empire ally until end of battle, or until the ally is defeated. Remove inevitable failure from all other allies. You gain 1 stack of inevitable failure when using an ability or receiving damage from an enemy. When defeated, grant Admiral Piet the following bonuses based on how many stacks they have. So as you can see, the more stacks they have, basically the more tanky that Piet gets and more offense he has. And speed if you can get somebody up to 20 stacks. So ideally, what you want to do is have a real tanky, like Stormtrooper for example, and you can get inevitable stacks stacked on him, and you get him built up to 20 stacks. And then if he ever got, knocked off, he would give Admiral Piet, 100% max health, max protection, 300% offense, 25% speed. It'd be a lot. The suborbital strike. This is your AoE. Dispel all buffs on light side enemies. Deal physical damage to all enemies. Inflict daze for 2 turns. Daze is really good. Keeps them from counterattacking. Allies with inevitable failure gains 2 stacks. If you do defeat an enemy with this ability, though, you inflict fear on all enemies, and all allies with inevitable failure gain 5 stacks. So as you can see, he synergizes really good with Lord Vader. That's kind of like the general synergy plan there of the team. But let me go back here and give you some other ideas for the 5th spot. So you can use Grand Moff Tarkin. He actually is pretty good synergy. And forgive the mods. I've been moving mods around. Deal physical damage. Does 10% more damage per living ally. And gains 50% potency stacking until the next time he uses his ultimate firepower. No, Grand Moff Tarkin is kind of all built around his ultimate firepower. We'll kind of look at his other stuff first. Gain potency up. So he can give Darth Vader some potency up here. Inflict critical chance, offense down on all enemies. Rebel enemies can't resist it. And then you gain 15% turn meter for each debuffed enemy. So if you had 5, you'd be giving yourself 75% turn meter. Which under Vader lead actually would work pretty good, since, you know, the damage over time never expire. Grand Moff Tarkin gains defense equal to his potency percentage and 20% potency per debuffed enemy. Now you wonder why he needs all this potency. It's because of this. Cooldown 4. Deals special damage to all enemies with a 100% chance to remove 50% of the turn meter. So if you was able to trigger Darth Vader's thing, you would be able to remove 70% turn meter. This attack gains offense equal to double Tarkin's potency percentage. I haven't ran the numbers, but on paper it sounds like he could do a lot of damage with his ultimate firepower. Okay. Show you a couple more alternatives. Let's go back over here to Empire. I thought about using the Scout Trooper. We'll just cover this since the Scout Trooper is a Galactic Legend requirement. Some people might be thinking of using Scout Trooper. The problem is, and they have, you can use her. She does have some synergy. Doesn't really have any. Doesn't have any AOE. And the biggest problem though is synergy has a lot of synergy with Imperial Remnant and not a lot with Imperial Troopers. That's the only downside. But if you want to stick with the White Trooper and, you know, kind of the older movie Vader team, that is not a bad idea. Another idea is the TIE Fighter pilot. He has an AoE. He's kind of cool. Deal physical damage to all enemy. 80% chance to inflict buff immunity. Inflict ability block and primary target. As a basic, he deals 35% more damage to each enemy suffering a debuff. So on his basic, on paper at least, it seems like he could do a lot of damage with just his basic. And he inflicts nasty down for 2 turns on a critical hit. Helps with landing more debuffs. He does speed himself up at the end of each of his turns. For each debuffed enemy, TIE Fighter pilot gains 10% turn meter and has 35% chance to gain foresight. So if all the enemies were debuffed, you could potentially be giving him 50% turn meter after every turn, and he could be going pretty fast, especially if you have a lot of speed on him. So Grand Moff Tarkin, TIE Fighter pilot, those are good choices that I've done some research on. if you can find some other ones that has like AoE that you can plug in there without destroying the other teams, obviously that might work. But that's kind of the team in a nutshell. For modding, obviously you want a lot as much speed as you can get on this, because it'll do better the more speed you have. Stormtrooper, I personally would recommend a defense set to help keep him tanky. And defense is good because um, it protects your health and your protection, makes it harder. You obviously could use all health sets on him if you wanted to go that way. Magma Trooper, I'm running offense. It's nasty set because he gives himself a tenacity boost. Could run a health set instead of tenacity. Offense, I kind of go with the offense because a lot of teams now have critical damage immunity. So offense is a good way to kind of boost up the baseline of your damage. With Snow Trooper, I went all crit chance. I was trying to build up his crit chance as high as possible to keep getting overwhelming assault to, just constantly be going. Admiral Piet, I was going all health. I was doing that initially to try to keep him from to basically survive longer, but they're recommending a speed set, which is actually better than all health. So that's what I would recommend too. Just wanted to show you that their recommendation there, so that you see where I got it from. And over here we got Darth Vader. I'm personally running a offense set, potency side set. I think, I mean, you could do a crit damage if you wanted to. I'll kind of show you my Darth Vader squad. See, I'm running offense, speed arrow, potency down here, health. Obviously, these are offense, defense. And then for speed stats, 15, 17, 21. That's pretty good. 19, 11. I could need to work on getting these speeds up. Need to do some slicing on them. And I kind of gave you an idea. So I got them setting at 256. Obviously, these mods could use some speed. Could get more speed on them. If you can get them over 20, that's great. Closer to 30 is even better. I mean, unless you have lots of time to spend on your mods, then obviously you probably have a lot of high level 20s. And the closer he is to 300, the better, without sacrificing his offense. I got his damage at 8,300. We can back out here. You can kind of see how much boost I have. So I got 115 boosts on his speed. Got some health and protection. A lot of potency boost because I want to be landing those debuffs. And about almost 2,700 boost to his offense. And some boost to his critical chance. So right there, that gives you an idea, overview of how to build a Darth Vader lead Empire team. Hope this kind of inspires everyone to maybe do this and try it out. Just please hit that subscribe button so I can keep doing this, and may the force be with everyone.